Thank you. I can I can hardly see you. But oh gosh. I'm sorry. We all eat. No matter the differences between people, we all need food. And fish are the last great wild food that we have. Now, my husband and I practice ancient fishing techniques that date back from prehistoric times. That doesn't mean that I'm a ghost of fisheries past. In fact, our fishery is fully alive, and I'm confident that it holds big promises for the future if we manage to survive the present time. Now, I'm not so sure about that survival. Well, I was not always a fisherman. I've always loved the sea, and I bought my first boat when I was only 7 years old. But I studied forestry, and I became a consultant. I never thought of fishing until I met my husband. He took me out to the Waddensea, and I experienced that place that I thought I knew in a completely new way, a way I had never seen it before. In a small dinghy through small, shallow, narrow, winding channels, looking for fish, then finding the fish, and jumping out of the boat, having to set the net very quickly, and running after the fish, trying to chase them into the net. And then after that, getting into the boat again, hauling back in the net, slowly, with the fish. No wonder I fell in love. Not only with my husband, but also with his profession, and again with the Waddensea. This romantic haze didn't last that long, because soon I found out that government officials were planning to ban this gillnet fishery, as it is called, from the Waddensea. Together with colleagues from my work, we managed to change the ideas of politicians, and this new legislation was postponed. Instead, all gillnet fishermen in the Waddensea had to get involved in a research project into unwanted bycatch. Now, fortunately, in gillnet fisheries on the Waddensea, there's no bycatch of seals, and there's hardly any bycatch of birds. So we all passed the test gloriously. And even though after that we thought our fishery was deemed sustainably, we still had to face a lot of new problems. Because seals and birds are protected from disturbance by making places into areas where nobody is allowed to come. So that speedboats, running dogs, kites, anything will not disturb the breeding birds. That it means that we lose traditional fishing grounds. For many people, it's just collateral damage. But for us, it means it's more and more difficult every year to keep our small fishing business viable. And on top of that, we get new legislations for registration of fisheries. And all these new registration methods are all designed for big ships and not for small boats like ours. So we cannot really comply with the new rules, like an electronic logbook, and you have to, before you are allowed to fish, you have to go out of the harbour with a boat and send out a departure message. But what if the traditional gear that you want to fish with, you can do walking? You can empty the fikes walking. It just doesn't, we cannot comply with these new rules. So in a way, I'm afraid that maybe our traditional fishery will not survive the present times of piling up legislations and nature conservancy. So I quit my job. I had a well-paid job in nature management, but I think I have a more important role to play as a small-scale food producer. In a post-oil age, we will need the skills, the techniques, the knowledge of the people who know how to work with these low-fuel, low-impact fishery methods. So really, we've been thinking about finding new allies, trying to keep our fishery as it is, so we can pass it on to next generations for a future to come. And these allies we found in the people who buy and eat our fish. It's hard to explain how difficult it is if you're never sure whether the livelihood that you have now will still be there next year. We, as traditional fishermen on the Waddensea, never know whether we'll be allowed to fish next year. This is a constant stress, not only for me and my husband, but for all our colleagues. And to deal with that, we need your support, basically, the support of anyone who eats, which also means me, myself. So we went to the market. We sell our fish straightly on farmers markets. We also sell to restaurants. And we got so much positive feedback that really, it's hard also to explain just how rewarding it is to know that the people who eat your fish really love your product and that they really are willing to stand up with us to keep our fishery alive. And what I want to tell you is that because we all eat, we all act. And it's not only us small-scale fishermen, but there's farmers, there's all kinds of producers, beekeepers, so many, that have the same struggle as we have, and you never know whether you'll survive the next year. And what anyone can do is just try to find who is producing your food. Try to find producers selling their products directly and make contact. Because really, that is the only source of energy that gives us enough positive strength to keep up our work and to make sure that we have a future. Thank you.